Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we have the patch notes for patch 17.6. We have actually a pretty decently small patch this time around, but we're going to be covering buffs to Twisted Fate, Victor, Mordekaiser, Karma, LeBlanc, Morgana, and Shen, and then they're also buffing Anma, Arbiter, Nova, and Shepherd, and 21 different augments, and then they're going to be nerfing Gnar. Very dominant comp recently, the Gnar printer comp. Gonna be touching Meeple and 12 different augments getting nerfed, and then they're adjusting loot singularity and also removing critical success. Now let's move on into mobile minimum spec changes. As we continually develop teamfight tactics, we occasionally update the minimum system requirements, and starting July 22nd, they'll be ending support for 2 and 3 GB mobile devices, and then we have some large changes. By the way, it is Pengu's birthday, so I am going to be dropping a bunch of different codes here. Just take one and thank Riot Games for giving those out. So next up we have our traits. So we have Anma Squad. We have the 15 gold cash out removed at 6. When you get 6 Anma, you pretty much get a cash out every single turn. The 3x 4 cost cash out is also removed, and then they're changing 2 lesser duplicators to duplicators and 5 gold. And then you're now more likely to receive component and emblem rewards. Next up we have is Arbiter input rerolled last turn. You can gain attack speed, and it's going to be buffed a little bit now. Gain resistances, also buffed, shielding buffed, and also gold buffed. So that's going to be pretty useful for some of the Arbiter reroll comps probably. I don't think it's going to be played that much in like a LeBlanc comp, but we saw earlier LeBlanc is getting buffed, but maybe if there's like a Diana reroll comp, this definitely could make it shine a bit more. Nova, 5 bonuses. It's going to be Caitlyn headshot damage 40 to 50%, Akali nerfs across the board to AD, and then Kindred also getting some damage amp there. I think they're talking about wanting to give other options for Nova players regarding the strike selector, because most people are just using the emblem, and they're trying to rename it to Nerf Overdue, very appealing. All right. Next up we have is Arbiter output combat start. Shield duration is going to be changed from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Meeple 7 gold per 2 cost, cloned 5 to 3. So that's directly hurting the Gnar comp a ton. Mecha, AD, and AP, this one's going to be buffed at 4 mecha, nerfed at 6 mecha. Interesting. That's like the first time I've ever seen that in TFT. Did they switch these numbers by accident? Because I've never heard of a trait getting weaker when you put more traits into it. Next up, we have a Shepherd, 5 tail sweep damage, 200 AP to 230. Health multiplier, this one's going to be buffed up a tiny bit. Shepherd, 7 shield, tail swipe, and health multiplier all getting buffed as well. I'll be quite honest with you, I have not seen too many 7 Shepherd comps. Obviously, you need the emblem for it to really make it work, but even 5 Shepherd, I haven't seen too much of that. So honestly, verticals have been kind of weird this set. There are some strong ones, but I wouldn't say they absolutely dominate anything. I'm hoping this is actually going to be one of those legit comps. Next up, we have our tier 1 units, Twisted Fate, minimum ability damage. This one's going to be buffed up. Same with maximum damage. So Twisted Fate hasn't really been played that much, and he is going to be like the premier 1 cost reroll comp. I wouldn't really consider Primordian reroll because, I mean, it is a reroll comp, but it's like a fake one, you know, because you get so many units for free. But Twisted Fate, you kind of have to earn it on your own. I know he does give gold, but you still need to get him before you get everyone else in order to actually get the comp nice and rolling. Tier 2, we have Gnar base damage just being touched by 2. Like, yeah, the 7 Meeple nerf is going to be a lot more harmful for it, but obviously this does touch it up a little bit too. Mordekaiser, initial shield, this one's going to be bumped up a lot at 3-star. Okay, do people want to go for 3-star Mordekaiser? It's mainly going to be for heat death out there. Shield channel going to be bumped up a little bit too. So we'll see how they are buffing the champion augment. But yeah, Mordekaiser himself is going to be a bit stronger. Units tier 3, Victor damage. This one's going to be getting a slight buff. And then Lulu, alter spell damage, slight buff also. Okay, interesting. Same with Serpent. Okay, so they did a bunch of Lulu nerfs in the previous patches, and now they're finally bumping her up a little bit. Maybe they went a little bit too far. Lulu definitely wasn't that great in the most recent patch, but wasn't horrible. So something small like this definitely, I think, is well deserved. Next up we have is units tier 4. We have Aurelion Soul, non-mech spell damage. This one's going to be buffed up. Karma split damage, also going to be buffed up. LeBlanc going to be buffed up. So all the 4 cost APs are being buffed. Holy cow. Morgana health is going to be buffed. Ally heal going to be buffed. Master Yi being buffed. And then Nami also being buffed. So literally like every 4 cost AP is getting buffed. Are we going to be seeing a heavy AP patch? With Shepherd's AP share in check, we're able to buff Karma and LeBlanc in hopes that they can find their homes in AP Shepherd flex lines and others alike. Then, as a threat tank, if Morgana can't do the tanking, she's just a nice passive trait for your team. With more HP and ally healing, this Dark Lady should now bring more light to your board. Yeah, I mean, I always like Morgana still. Like, she's just a nice unit you could play that's kind of uncontested that you could just throw in whenever, and any team works. Any team can use her. Then when you get something better or like the main tank for your actual comp, you could always sell her and move on. But this makes her a bit more permanent, which I think is kind of cool. Next up, we have a Shen. He will always gain his attack speed bonus after casting his ability, even if it does not hit himself. His attack speed buff no longer decays when buffing Shen. Other allies receive the same decaying buff now. And then onto augments. The bulk of our balance focus on this patch is augments, so expect a very long list with few highlights here. Okay, so loot singularity, this one's going to get a bunch of cash outs change. Looking overall like a concentration of its power rather than needing so many turns to cash out. So did they talk about it here? Not so much, but as you can see, 17 to 20 cash outs are going to be removed, but the early ones are going to be a bit better. So for example, I'd rather have a component than a reforger or duplicator. And this one you get a bit earlier, but then you kind of lose it back, but you gain 1 gold at 70. Next, we have the lesser duplicator. This one's going to be swapped around as well, but you get the 1 gold there. And then the cash out 16 threshold is going to be changed from 555 to 777. And the reward is going to be pretty juicy. You're going to get one of the god items, which is equivalent in power to an artifact item, and also 3 removers. So what they're saying is that cash out 16 will be very hard to hit. Band of Thieves 2 and 2+ turn delay is going to be dropped by 2 and 1 turns. Best Friends now also grants magic resistance. I always wondered why it only gave armor before. It didn't really make any sense, but now it's going to be doing both. Birthday Reunion initially grants 3 gold. 2-star, 2-cost champions granted at level 5. Blood Offering HP loss, 20% max HP is being changed to 15, and then shield amount is also going to be nerfed. But the stat gains is going to be up a tiny bit with AP and AD. This one's obviously really only good in melee comps. Bodyguard training base resistance is going to be bumped up a bit. Yeah, I pretty much have never taken this. It's not that it was like bad, it just like feels whatever compared to some of the other tank ones. Build-A-Bud gold going to be bumped up by 2. Contract Killer Pike, bonus tank damage going to be increased. Critical success disabled. Deadlier Caps, Rabadon's Death Cap now also grants 1 mana regen. Next we have early learnings. This one, initial AD and AP is being changed from 8 to 5. Didn't they buff this one? I think like 2 patches in a row, and then they're nerfing it now. Expedition gold 20 to 15. I love Expedition personally. It gives you a nice little rating item, really good for reroll, and it's now mutually exclusive to 1 player. Forged in Strength health threshold 35 to 30, and then forward thinking rounds is being changed from 5 to 6, and then gold is being changed from 70 to 62. That is a pretty big nerf. This is really good if you're doing a super lose streak, or if you're trying to go like fast level 20 or whatever, you know. Going long, initial gold 13 to 16, golden gamba 1 to 2, plus 2 to 3. Heat death, this is a buff they were talking about before. Active ability damage is going to be changed from 50, 75, and 115 to 55, 82, and 140. So pretty decent there. By the way, I'll be updating how to play the hero augments on bunnymuffins.lol/meta, along with all the other team comps in the next couple of days, and then a video will be coming out on Friday. High voltage, bonus damage 20 to 25. Late game specialist no longer exclusive with level up. Gold is being dropped from 30 to 27. And then living forge rounds being changed from 8 to 9. Yeah, this one's actually, I've always liked this one. I always wondered why they dropped it from, it used to be 10. They dropped it all the way down to 8. Now it's back to 9. Lucky Gloves 2-1 version now also grants 4 gold. Pilfer, gold for Thieves Gloves 21 to 19. Recombobb also grants 3 free rerolls. Wow, that's really good, right? Isn't that just like a huge buff? I thought they were nerfing this. I think in the image I saw it over here. No, that's Restart Mission. That's my bad. I'm sure we'll be seeing it in just a second. Reinforcement, gold 5 to 7. Restart Mission, mutually exclusive from Expedition, Clear Mind, and AFK. You also get 2-star 2 cost is being changed from 3 to 2, so that's a nerf. Restart Mission, really good if you just like don't know what you're doing, you got no direction, things like that. Retribution is going to be removed. Oh, they removed this one? Okay, to be fair, I did not click this one that often, but I thought it was cool, you know? Bonus crit damage is going to be changed from 15 to 25. Wait, if they're removing it, why are they making a change? Okay, maybe we'll get clarification on that a bit later. Self-destruct Gragas ability damage is being changed from 250, 375 to 600 to 225, 335, and 550, so it's being nerfed a little bit. I always found this one of the most fun hero augments, but I didn't think it was like that strong, but it was definitely good, you know. Shimmer Scale Essence rounds 6 to 7. Okay, come on. They're not even hiding it at this point, right? Time Stream also grants all allies 100 health. AS per reroll going to be buffed up a tiny bit. And then Treasure Hunt, gold per chest, 16 to 18. Fifth treasure chest is now always 1 artifact anvil plus 4 gold. 2 tanky health, 450 to 375. Shield amount, 40% to 35%. Big nerf there. This is going to hit Samira pretty hard. And then we have Irv's Gambit, gold 6 to 3, and then wise spending 3 to 1. So tons of changes there. We got some bug fixes too. Fix a bug with Soraka's Blessing of Prosperity, where the tooltip on the God prop displayed the wrong numbers. Fix a bug where 2 tanky could recreate an additional copy of Shepherd Summon. Pengoose Party, Ixtol, 920, and 1000 cash outs will now properly grant their associated loot. Nitro fixed a bug where Robot incorrectly showed their splash as T-Hex on mobile. And then Overlord will now chomp allies before spitting out the super mech if the Overlord is also the mech pilot. And then lastly, Shimmer Scale, Draven's Axe now shows stacks on it during the planning phase. And yeah, obviously for Pengu's Party, this is the one where you can play different sets. They're going to be making a couple of adjustments there. But just to sum up at the top, what do I think the meta will shift into after this patch? Honestly, I don't think it's going to change that much apart from AP being very, very prevalent compared to AD because they buffed, what was it, like I think 4 different 4-cost AP champions. So one of them's going to end up being good. And then when one of them ends up being good, since you build AP items at the start, some of the other ones will feel a bit better. So they're kind of trying to equalize the AD and AP. AD definitely a bit better in the last patch. You had like Corky, Zaya, things like that. There's someone else I'm missing. My brain's being a little foggy right now. But with Karma, Nami, LeBlanc, Acel all being buffed, there's got to be something to be done there with the APs, right? Like AP has to be a ton better. So that's going to be my predictions. But of course, the tier list will be coming out, bunnymuffins.lol/meta. Once the patch does come out, we'll be updating and then also updating throughout the week. But that's going to be it for me today. Let me know if you have any comments, questions in the comments section below. And again, thanks to Riot for providing some Pengu Party codes for us. I showed them a bit earlier in the video, but again, only take one. I mean, you can't even use 2 of the same skin on the same account, right? Like, that's just not even possible. But I guess you could tell your friend to try to redeem quickly too. But that's going to be it for me today. I'll see you all next time.